British Columbia as the Lions host the Tiger Cats. And great news for BC, Nathan Rourke back after missing the last 3 games. And more good news, James Butler also returns to the lineup after missing a game. On the flip side, it is Harrison Frost making his very first CFL start and hoping to find instant chemistry with this man, Kenny Lawler. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba and Milt Siegel as we get you set for the Lions taking on the Tiger Cats. And the biggest news of this game has to be the one and only Nathan Rourke, although I think we all enjoyed seeing what Caden Salter could do, especially with his legs. But we'll have to wait. Meanwhile, when it comes to Rourke, the team obviously struggled without him. That big drop-off, the Lions averaged nearly almost 150 more yards throughout the air per game with Rourke at quarterback. Rourke has completed over 70% of his passes this season, a 15% increase than the team managed without him as well. And Milt, look, you can break down these numbers all day, but he is the heartbeat of this team, and we know that they should be much better with him back.
Without a doubt, but they need to have a sense of urgency. Yes, they're sitting at the bottom of the totem pole in the West, but they still have an opportunity. It's not like in the East where Montreal is pulled away from everyone. They still have an opportunity to get back into playoff hunt, but it needs to start right now, tonight. Their defense has been playing better over the last 4 games. Mike Benny, he has that defense playing well, only giving up 22 points. You got your all-star quarterback back in the mix right now. There are no more excuses. They are expected to win this game tonight, and they need to win it.
You got to win the games that are supposed to be winnable, and this is definitely one of them as well. You look at the Hamilton Tiger Cats. This team has been struggling tremendously, and they're practically the worst in a lot of the categories. They're the lowest scoring team. You got Nathan Rourke back on the field. Harrison Frost. The lens is on you right now, and you don't want to make it a shootout because you don't want to, again, play against Nathan Rourke that way. But it's going to be interesting to see this matchup right here. A lot of pressure on this young man right here. We'll see how he's going to fan out tonight.
Well, the one thing about Hamilton, they do have a decent defense, and they're going to have to be. They got to be better than decent today because we just don't know enough about Harrison Frost to say he can go out there and beat Nathan Rourke.
That's what we talk about. They make plays, but you got to convert. You got to actually score, or at least bring it to the red zone.
And not to make it about the show, but if Harrison Frost does have a great game, Frosty, we got all kinds of things we can put together with graphics.
Can't wait.
We'll get you to BC with Rod Smith and Glenn Suter right after this.
Harrison looking to his left. Once again, Lawler backtracking. And did he hang on to it? Touchdown, Tiger Cats. Oh, Frosty the throw man.
Looks deep as the receiver. Touchdown, BC. Jermaine Jackson. You wanted more passing yards? How's that?
Leslie Ramler of Sherwood Park, Alberta. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could win $1 million. Good luck, Leslie. Let's get you to BC. It is Rod Smith and Glenn Suter.
All right, Kate, and a beautiful summer Saturday here on the West Coast. BC Lions back home for the second time this season and the second meeting against the Hamilton Tiger Cats this year. The Cats beat them soundly 7 weeks ago in Hamilton, but as so often suits in this league, quarterbacks are a big part of the story. For the Lions, they get their MOP back. Nathan Rourke, who really, with the exception of a couple of plays, hasn't played in 5 weeks.
Yeah, Nathan Rourke was injured in that game against the Edmonton Elks, and you're talking 3 games ago on the second play. This week, he's cleared by the medical staff. Lions are happy to have last year's MOP back behind center. Since Bo Levi Mitchell was injured in week 5, it's been a bit of a revolving door at quarterback for the Ticats. They're looking for consistency. Tonight, in his first start, it's Harrison Frost.
Yeah, Scott Milanovic using his 3rd starting QB since that injury to Bo Levi Mitchell. The Ticats are 1-3 since then, 3-5 overall. Buck Pierce, 2nd season as Lions head coach. He's been without his stars, we mentioned, for 3 games. Nathan Rourke out, but back in this one. And won a big one last week, though, BC did, in Winnipeg, with Caden Salter at quarterback. And there's Isaiah Wooden, who was a return touchdown this season. Myron Mitchell back with him as well. The Ticats won the toss, and they want the ball to start things off. So it's Carl Meyer who will get it going. Ticats trying to get back in the win column, and the Lions At 2-5, looking to build on last week with Nathan Rourke back here in BC Place. The final game of Week 10 underway in Vancouver, and a squib kick by Meyer, and it's taken up closer there. That's defensive lineman Owen Hubert, who puts a shoulder down and pulls his way up, not expecting to be returning a kickoff in this game, but not a bad return at all.
So here he is, 27-year-old Harrison Frost, win with the team last year, so does know Scott Milanovich's system, and gets his first start in Canadian football. Talked to him this week and asked him if he was the color analyst, how would he describe his style of play? He said, I'm a timing thrower. So got to get it out of my hand as quickly as possible.
And they're looking for some consistency on offense and protecting the football too. They've tried Jake Dolegala, they've tried Trey Ford for a couple of starts, and now it's Harrison Frost's turn. Handing off, no, faking it to Roundtree and throwing it off near midfield. So a short pass to start, and it's Carrick Wheatfalls. We look at that Ticats offense.
So a couple matchups. You take a look up front, starting with his first start at right guard out of Louisiana Tech, Jonathan Dennis, part of the Canadian College draft for Hamilton, and Carrick Wheatfall, and this might surprise people, maybe it shouldn't, is leading the Hamilton Tiger Cats in those explosive plays. Everyone thinks it's Kenny Lawler. Wheatfall is their leader.
So they pick up 3. It's a 2nd and 7. Right at midfield for the Ticats to open up this game. Frost nearly intercepted. Close to a pick. Coming in was T.J. Lee, and the Ticats are lucky to have the chance to punt this one away. Or excuse me, Deontay Williams.
Just dropping out there in that zone, and again, if it's about timing for Harrison Frost, who, when we took some shots of him in the locker room, looked a little bit nervous to come out in his first start. Not surprisingly, got away with one there.
Williams nearly had it and might have had a place to run to after that. The punt instead. It's Mitchell McCarthy, first-year punter with the Ticats, getting it away, taking it down inside the 20, a punt of 36 yards. That's Jaden Williams on the return, who gets it up to the 30. So last year's most outstanding player, Nathan Rourke, second behind Bo Levi Mitchell in passing yards in 2025. But as mentioned, 3 weeks ago, got hurt in the second play from scrimmage in Edmonton. And really, you got to go back to touchdown Kelowna 5 weeks ago, the last time he had action.
Yeah, because when he got
No
hurt.
yards. Hamilton, number 32, 15-yard penalty, first down.
When he got hurt in that Edmonton game, it was like the second play.
Yeah.
So that was basically an entire game. Chase Bryce filled in for him there and then got the next start against Toronto. And then against Winnipeg in the win, it was Caden Salter who put on a show running the football.
Did he ever? The Lions, counting Xander Horvath as well, ran for 377 in that game. Franchise record. And there is Horvath, who had that big day for that prominent part of that BC Lions offense now.
Yeah, relative newcomer up front for the BC Lions on the offensive line. That's Tyron Hunt out of Old Dominion. Just his second start at tackle. See how he holds up against Julian Hauser and Philip Osai in this one. And Nathan Rourke told us on the phone this week that he is excited to get Javon Catoy back in the lineup. He's missed basically the entire season on the 6th game.
It was in Saskatchewan in week 2, their opener, when Catoy suffered a thigh injury. And yeah, just back now, we got movement on the line of scrimmage with the Ticats. A free play for Rourke, but no, he gets taken down by Osai, but it looks like an offside coming up here against Hamilton.
Yeah, I think Nathan Rourke knew he had a free play, but that, for his psyche, getting tackled by Osai there probably helps him. You know, I mean,
Defensive offside. Hamilton, number 95 and 22.
So he
Will replay second down.
okay. He has, you know, basically he's got that shoulder, and we'll let Farhan, he's going to give us a good medical update very shortly. But, you know, to get that first hit under your belt, no matter what position you play, is important when you're coming off the injured list.
So with the 5 yards up, a 2nd and 1, short yardage now. And Horvath gets that and then some. Their short yardage specialist. BC is Horvath, who can do so many things. And we saw that last week in Winnipeg when he went off. Big rushing day. But yeah, gets 10 yards when they only needed 1.
Yeah, big rushing day. even an understatement to say it, because it was almost 200 yards rushing by Horvath himself. James Butler out of the lineup is back in the lineup tonight, and we may see both of them on the field at the same time.
Xander Horvath. Alexander, officially, although he says only his dad calls him that. He's gone by Xander his whole life. And faking to him, and Rourke rolls right, finds an open receiver too. That's caught by Justin McInnes, CFL's leading receiver a couple of years ago, and picks up what looks to be close to, if not, another first down here for BC.
So looking up front for the defense for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Philip Osai is tied for the team lead with Julian Hauser in the sack department. They both have 4. You go back to the linebacking core, and there's their leader, Wynn McManus, in the middle. Didn't start the season. First 2 games was on the injured list, but he's back. And Katsatonis, 3 interceptions on the season already. Back in his home area where UBC, he was a star.
Absolutely, and the Lions back in short yardage again at 2nd and 1, and lunging again. See if he can get that first down around the 45 for Horvath, and he looks to have it. Sticks do move again. Drive continues here for BC.
Just incredible on 9 carries. It was just his second start in Canadian football. His first was last year versus Calgary. He had a big game in that one too, 152 yards. But look at that, 17 carries, 191 yards, and 3 touchdowns. It doesn't get any bigger from the running back position than that.
And if you combine that with what Caden Salter did, the starting quarterback, I mean, that team went for 377 in Winnipeg, running wild against the Bombers in that victory. From the 45 now of Hamilton, and it's out for Jermaine Jackson, who had a touchdown last week, the only touchdown through the air for BC in that victory. Devondrick Bynum limiting his progress up the field after the catch.
So I always look when a player, especially a quarterback, comes out to start to see how they're going to get him back into that rhythm, back into feeling that comfort level. And it's quick game, a little run game so far for Nathan Rourke.
And no gain for Jackson after the catch, so it is a 2nd and 10 at the Hamilton 45. Opening possession for the BC Lions here in Vancouver as Rourke throws again, and he's got Keon Hatcher. Last year's leading receiver off to another good start this season, has another BC first down.
Yeah, and remember, Keon Hatcher didn't play when these two teams met early in the season. And it was a blowout by the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Nathan Rourke not only didn't have Keon Hatcher in that one, he also didn't have Javon Couture.
Again unopen, finding a spot down around the 15 and pushing inside the 10. As this continues here for Jermaine Jackson, and it's a 1st and goal here for the Lions and a gain of 19.
Yeah, in order to get them going, they want to get the run game started early, which they started on this drive.
Too many players on the field. For Edmonton, for Hamilton, that penalty's declined first.
So the too many men called, and this is the result, though, even against an extra defender.
3 receivers just sitting down on a dig route from the outside.
Here comes BC now. They got a 1st and goal at the Hamilton 7. Nathan Rourke rolling to the right for Xander Horvath, who breaks a tackle and pulls his way in for the Lions touchdown. Horvath picking up from where he left off a week ago.
Buck Pierce told us they're going to rotate the 2 backs a little bit throughout this game tonight. We may see them both on the field at the same time, but certainly when you run for 191 and win a game with your 3rd-string quarterback also running for 161, that you've earned the right to at least start in the first series, and that's what Xander Horvath did. And he finishes the drive that he started with a couple of good runs.
7th touchdown for Xander Horvath. And that is the 6th one thrown for Nathan Rourke this season. Has said really his first action, minus a couple of plays in Edmonton, since touchdown Kelowna when they picked up their first win of the year against the Edmonton Elks. Rourke to Horvath. He does the rest. Touchdown BC.
And coming off the injury list, you always wonder, is that quarterback going to be sharp in the first series? And wow, was the last year's MOP ever sharp Started out with a little run game just to let the offense settle down, and then Nathan Rourke went to work. He was 5 for 5, 54 yards on the drive. Xander Horvath accounted for 24 yards, both on the ground and through the air here, and finished with the touchdown in the opening drive, a 9-player.
And that was actually his 3rd receiving touchdown and his 10th on the season, and that's Isaiah Wooden on the return after he bobbled it. Joshua Haggerty in. To a shorter return. The Ticats have the ball again, and they trail it by 7. Back at BC Place, 27-year-old Harrison Frost from Kennesaw, Georgia, just outside Atlanta.
Says it's okay, we call him Frosty.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's sort of his bio, and you know, usually when you see a quarterback at this level, they were stars in high school, then they moved up and worked their way to starting and being stars in college, and then through the NFL or the Canadian Football League, they get a chance to play pro. Very different journey for Harrison Frost.
Second possession now from the 25. There's the toss left to Larry Roundtree to try to get the running game going as he turns it back up, picks up 4 yards against that Lions defense.
So Frost is up against the defense playing much better than they did to start the season. They don't have Jonah Tavai in the interior of that defensive line, so David Gusta will start there. He's out of Kentucky. I think they've been a better defense since Parker McKenna joined the group as a starter. Didn't play in the first 2 games as a starter on defense, and there's their leader in the back end, TJ Lee.
He missed a few games as well earlier this season. Second down. Frost to throw. He has time. It's knocked at the line of scrimmage. Is it intercepted? Loose ball out. No. The Lions had a chance at a pick, but it does hit the turf. But still, more pressure there from BC just to block the throwing lane, and a second straight 2 and out for the Ticats.
Yeah, an assist goes to the defensive backfield for the Lions because Frost was holding the ball. And again, when we talked to him this week, he talked about the fact that he wants to be on time, wants to get the ball out of his hands as quickly as he can. He doesn't do that in this case. He holds it, then looks to the check down, and that's where it was blocked.
And it was ex-Ticat Casey Sales. One that got his hand up and blocked that one. So McCarthy to punt again. Jaden Williams after a 49-yard punt. Going to his left, gets up to the 40. He is pushed out by Daniel Bell. But Nathan Rourke and the Lions looked impressive on that opening possession. They got the ball back with a touchdown lead. Rourke 5 for 5, 54 yards and a TD. Matthew Betts, one of the sack leaders in the CFL, nearly had a pick. We flash back to a year ago yesterday, August the 7th, 25. BC at Hamilton. Nathan Rourke had himself a day.
Yeah, 408, couple touchdowns. Yeah, and usually these two teams split. This year, Bo Levi Mitchell got off to a great start in their first matchup with 5 touchdown throws by the end of the night. But that night, it was Nathan's night.
Yeah, then these teams played terrific games, and you're right, they split last year, the visiting team winning each time, but they were close right down to the wire. Rourke going to work again. Looked like he had another completion, but Justin McInnes could not hang on to that one right around first down territory.
Yeah, on full display for Nathan Rourke is that he hasn't missed a step. Okay, that first drive, 5 for 5, 54 yards, timing was there. And again, on display in that throw right there, even though it was incomplete, was his processing speed. I mean, he just so quickly gets the ball out of his hands. Unlike I think I've seen in my time in this league.
So quick to get rid of the ball. 2nd and 10 now. And Rourke gets hit at the line of scrimmage. So turnabout here, that time for the Lions, or the Ticats defensive front, to knock it away and force BC into their first punting situation. That Mitchell Agude who got his hands up.
Agude up the middle. Could have been Osai off the edge too, who got a piece of it.
The punt by Carl Meyer. Isaiah Wooden with that sun so bright. After a punt of 47, he takes it. Jackson Finley on the Special teams tackle just inside the 30-yard line. So Harrison Frost, couple of 2 and outs to start. Try to go to work again here on his first CFL start as BC plays in Vancouver. We'll be back. A relief for the Lions to get their star quarterback back. Let's go down to the field and say hello to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Rod, really it has been, as Suj said, 5 weeks, but in reality, Nathan Rourke's been throwing for well over 2 weeks. He actually began throwing the week of the Argos game, and if that Winnipeg game wasn't on a short week, I think there's every possibility he would have played in that one. BC found a way to win anyway. I spoke to Justin McInnes about how this week has looked in practice, if there was any rust. He said absolutely not. From the opening snap of the first practice of the week, he was on time, on schedule. He talked about a couple of plays where he was throwing to the field at the sideline, and he could actually hear the balls, and one time he had to clutch, threw it back to the middle of the field. I think that matters for a guy like McInnes, who's used to a high volume of targets. He's only had 8 receptions in the last 3 weeks. Even Keon Hatcher has also had it quiet. You saw both of them targeted with completions on that first drive. McInnes also had the opportunity on that last drive as well, so I think you can expect both of those players to have much louder numbers as we go forward here with Rourke in the lineup.
Yeah, Farhan, what we've seen so far, Rourke does look razor sharp. And there's Frost throwing. He's completed one pass up until this one intended for Curly Gittins Jr., who has it. Hauls down his first reception of this game.
Yeah, Justin McInnes got to get back to the bender. That's his route. Justin McInnes loves that bender route where he gets just past the linebacker core, bends around them from in behind him, but is not into the deep secondary yet. And that bender and timing from Rourke to McInnes, they got to find that again.
Justin McInnes was 3rd in the CFL in receiving yards a year ago, as mentioned, after having led the way 2 years ago in 24. So 2 completions for Frost, both of them shorter. That one was 4, as his longest completion, and that's good for a first down. As that is up closer to the 50, a 15-yard pickup to Myron Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, when you take a look at this, it's going to be a confidence-building throw. I mean, this is one of those throws where Harrison Ford gets a chance here to throw one in the hole in the zone defense, throw it on time, right at the 7, and good, accurate heat on it. That'll build some confidence.
You said something was my biggest fear of saying too, Harrison Ford. When you got Trey Ford and Harrison Frost, hey, I was worried about doing it. That would be interesting if Harrison. Yeah, well, it'd be interesting if Harrison Ford was playing. Here we go again. Yes. Harrison Frost. Another big completion, the biggest yet, to Kenny Lawler. So he's starting to warm up after a couple of 2 and outs.
Frosty with a nice throw down the middle. That's the one thing about his reps against Calgary and their loss last week against the Calgary Stampeders. And, you know, Frost went 9 of 20 in that game, but he wasn't afraid to push the ball deep. Of those 20 attempts, 7 of them were over 30 yards. So he's not nervous to try and get it down the field, and he does there to Kenny Lawler.
I wonder what a young Harrison Ford would have like, pre-Indiana Jones, what he would have been like as a quarterback.
I think a receiver. He would have been a receiver, running around.
There you go. So down to the 28. Here comes Hamilton. Throwing again, off to the left. Frost completes that one. The Carrick weak ball. And does a good job after the catch, putting his shoulder down to put the Lions defending deep in their zone. The Ticats in business with a 1st and goal.
That's exactly what he does, Rod. He gets his pad level down when contact's about to come from the inside. Gets that pad level down, good base, and is able to bounce off that first hit for a 23-yard gain.
So down to the BC 5. Ticats down a touchdown, but threatening now.
Big drive for Frost.
Frost warming up, if you will. Certainly has in this one. Handing off, Roundtree 3-2. And trying to pull his way to the 1, but does get pushed back. So picks up a couple of yards with a 2nd and goal ahead here for the Ticats.
Boy, the Ticats really want to finish this drive, and that confidence can continue to build for Harrison Frost. I mean, that throw on the curl was a big one. It gets a little bit of the jitters out. He settles his feet a little bit more. Then he hits Kenny Lawler on the post, and away you go. That's sometimes all you need to get started. Want to finish this drive.
Unnecessary roughness. BC number 9. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line and a first down.
As announced by today's referee, Andre Prue, Deontay Williams flagged for this.
His right hook. Braden Suardo. Just in his second start. The right hook's going to get called every time.
The right hook always gets called.
Yeah, new set of downs
maybe
on
not
the one.
Maybe not the jab, but the hook. Here we go. Jake Dolegala in short yardage, first down. And a lunges way and waiting for a signal. We got one and a touchdown, Hamilton. Jake Dolegala breaks the plane, and the Ticats are on the board.
Yeah, once you get that penalty, it's a new set of downs, and you're on the 1 yard line because it's half the distance, and that's when short yardage comes in. Jake Dolegala finishes it. But that's a big, big drive for Harrison Frost.
Dolegala, who was the first to get the start after the injury to Bo Levi Mitchell in Saskatchewan. And after the Ticats lost that game on his start, they turned to Trey Ford against the Argos and against the Alouettes. And then 2 last week against Calgary before Frost came in relief of Ford. And Mark Leggio has the point after. 6 plays, 81 yards in about 3.5 minutes, and an encouraging sign for Scott Milanovich.
Oh.
They keep juggling quarterbacks, and a good drive right there for Hamilton.
Yeah, I don't care what position you play. That first game, when you're a rookie, you don't feel your feet until you get settled in and something good happens. He almost gets picked in the first series. That didn't happen. That could have just crushed his confidence. And Frost in that drives the field. Good throw on the post to Kenny Lawler. That'll settle him in.
Well, here we go. The touchdown drive.
Yeah, there's the big throw right there. That gets you settled. And then Kenny Lawler has to change his arm angle to get that one there, but an accurate throw on the post. Outside to Weekfall, who makes a couple of people miss, and then Dolegala finishes it off.
And for what it's worth, Suits, the stats so far, Frost is 5 for 7, 79 yards. Rourke 5 for 7, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Said Nathan Rourke has looked sharp all the way along, and it was a shakier start for Frost, but that has got to boost his confidence, as you talked about.
Well, Scott Milanovich told us that Harrison Frost thinks of the game like a coach, and in fact did coach before he got up here. But that's when you're thinking like a coach, you just have to settle in. You see the pictures, you see the coverages. They had that talk on the sideline between series. That was a good drive for him.
To a 7-7 tie in the Dolegala short yardage touchdown. Frost leading them down the field on that 6-play drive. And now Mark Leggio to kick it off from the Ticats 30. With Jaden Williams and Jermaine Jackson back to receive. Heading Williams' way inside the 15. Jaden Williams flying out as he gets up around the 35 before he is pushed out of bounds.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by The Score Bet, an official gaming partner of the CFL.
Rod Smith, Glenn Suter, Farhan Lalji here at BC Place in Vancouver. Nathan Rourke back to missing last few games with a non-throwing shoulder injury. Got hurt in Edmonton 3 weeks ago, and really got to go back to touchdown Kelowna. Last time he had a full game in and a good start, but Hamilton's answered back. So we'll see what Rourke can do now in the 7-7 tie. We were late in the first quarter, and they start back at their 10-yard line now. 1:36 and counting on the clock till quarter time. Play action pass, and it's caught by McInnes. Reaches up that tall frame of his and takes it down to the 15, and a first down on that 15-yard gain.
Yeah, how about that throw to get to the outside? And yeah, it's not a deep throw, but it's tough to get your body around and throw it the way Nathan Rourke just did there. Accuracy to lead his receiver right into the middle, and Justin McInnes.
McInnes now with a couple of catches for 24 yards.
You think the receiving core is excited about having their guy back?
Oh, you bet. And Rourke to have a healthier receiving core as well. intercepted. Went off the fingertips of McInnes, and Samari Walton, perhaps surprised to see it so cleanly come down. He had a shot at the pick.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he was surprised by it. And Walton, this is McInnes in here. The trips to the field that turns into quads, a 4-receiver package with Keon Hatcher, a double move by Justin McInnes. Usually brings that one down a little bit high on the throw, but yeah, it surprised Samari Walton, didn't it?
Not expecting that to come straight in.
Well, he knows how good Justin McInnes is.
Yeah. Can often haul those ones in. Flags out on that play. Kieran Poisson into the hands of the Ticats. Is that a pick by Robert Panabaker? He claims he has possession of it. He said flags out even before that ball was thrown.
Yeah, there were 2 different signals from the officials. One said it was
defensive offside.
Oh, there you go.
Hamilton number 0. 5-yard penalty. We're going to replay second.
Yeah, that's why. There's 2 officials, and both were pushing the opposite directions as if it was Hamilton's ball. One thought it was BC's ball still, but you see 2 defenders on the D-line. They're stepping into the neutral zone. Free play.
Did he catch it, though? Just curious.
That was a pick.
The hand underneath, he did. It doesn't...
Against the helmet.
It doesn't matter, but great effort by Robert Panabaker there. 2nd and 5 now after the penalty. Rourke standing in. Over the middle. No! Nearly caught. That was into the hands of Jackson. He cannot hang on. Takes a hit afterwards, but the quarter ends, and the Lions are going to have to punt it away. Been a couple of drops in Nathan Rourke's first quarter back. Ends up 6 for 10 right now, but certainly could have been better that way. The Lions had the great start, marching down in their opening possession for a touchdown. Slow start for the Ticats offense, but they bounced back, capped off with a Dolegala touchdown. We got a 7-7 tie through 1 at BC Place. We got a ball game through a quarter here, a 7-7 tie. As mentioned, Nathan Rourke looking good. Harrison Frost slow out of the gate, but steadily improving, Suits. And I'm still, as they say, trying to picture that dual quarterback name of Harrison Ford and how that would work.
Well, you've got 2 columns there that are pretty close,
yeah.
And you got the last year's MOP against a guy in his first start. And no, Indiana Jones did not throw for 79 yards in the first quarter. It was Harrison Frost, not Harrison Ford. And that drive is a big one for him and his confidence, as we've talked about. But we'll see what he does to go toe-to-toe with this guy, who looked sharp in that opening drive. Had one batted down in the second drive.
Had a couple of drops as well.
Yep.
Most recently, too. That's put him in a punting situation now. Sitting there, Nathan Rourke beside Chase Bryce, who had a start against the Argos. He was on in relief early in the game in Edmonton when Rourke got hurt, and then started here a couple of weeks ago against Toronto. It's Isaiah Wooden on the punt return now. He's got something going here. Midfield and more. Wooden runs into his own man. Finally gets tackled by Xander Horvath, but inside the BC 45. And Wooden, always dangerous on the returns, has set up Frost and the Ticats offense nicely.
Yeah, basically with 10 more yards, they're in comfortable field goal position at the very least. Obviously looking for more, but that's the one thing that Hamilton has in this game that BC's been looking for since they lost Seven McGee to injury in week 1. Just haven't had the big return game like Hamilton potentially does on every punt with Isaiah Wooden.
Well, how often have we seen the importance of a great returner like a Janarian Grant or Tyreek McAllister, and Wooden with Hamilton too. 42-yard return by Wooden. Frost, the offense, and sets up Larry Roundtree now, who has a good pickup on the ground and first down as he approaches the 35, 8 yards.
Good patience, good push by Roundtree. Scott Milenovich looking for consistency in the position, and he mentioned more than once with us this week, we got to eliminate turnovers.
Yeah.
We got to just stop giving it to the other team. And I think that's why Trey Ford's on the sideline right now and Harrison Frost is starting.
He made that very athletic run, jumping, trying to hurdle, and then ended up losing the ball against Calgary. And it wasn't long after that, in that game against the Stampeders, that Milenovich had seen enough and made the switch, going to Frost. Off the fake, buys himself some time to look into the end zone. No! DeAndre Smith, coverage there for BC and a chance for a pick for the Lions. A flag is out.
Well, you got to like, if you're a Ticat fan, the fact that Harrison Frost is not afraid to push the ball. I mean, he hit that touchdown drive, Kenny Lawler on a post. Keandre Smith had a shot at it here.
Keandre Smith, actually Hamilton's top receiver in yardage, coming in at 489, and had a great game the last time he was at BC Place when the Lions were keying on Kenny Lawler so much last year. So we await word from Andre Prue on this flag.
Well, illegal contact on receiver, BC number 23. This is a 10-yard penalty that will result in a first down.
Calling Stanley Thomas Oliver on that.
Thomas Oliver out on the corner. This is Kenny Lawler running in his route and tries to get back inside. Thomas Oliver cuts him off from getting there well past the 5-yard area where you're allowed to make contact on the receiver. So that's the illegal contact. He wasn't the intended target, or it would have been upgraded to pass interference.
As it stands, the penalty moves him to the BC 26 now in a 1st and 10 in the 7-7 tie. Faking the handoff again and throwing, completing it to Keandre Smith, who now has his first catch of this game. The Ticats leading receiver, a gain of 9 for Hamilton.
Everyone starts to believe a little bit after that one drive. Whether you're playing defense for Hamilton, in the receiving corps, or up front, that's been good protection. That last play, Frost got outside of the pass rush, broke contain, and had all day if he wanted out there.
Frost off for short yardage. Dolegala in again. Second trip to the red zone in this game for Hamilton, looking for the first down. And that big body of Jake Dolegala lunging across and getting the first down around the 15.
Yeah, he dug into that one, didn't he? He got the pad level down and short yardage, and he just drove through there. Got a chance to start. Didn't look good in that game. The offense really just producing 7 points. Had against Saskatchewan in a 38-7 loss. As you mentioned, went to Trey Ford, and now we're at Frosty,
who is back out there now. From the 15 and a 1st and 10. Quickly to the left. It's caught. Down at the 10. So a little more than 5 yards there in the hands of Curly Gittins Jr.
So there's the timing that Frost was talking about with us in our meeting. That he wants to get into that thought process where he knows where he wants to go with the ball pre-snap, and then 1-2, look, let it go. Unless you see anything drastic there, you're going to go to that out route to Curly Gittins. Very nice.
2nd and 5 at the BC 10. Ticats have a chance now for the first lead of this game here in the 2nd quarter. They fell behind 7. They drove back in the 1st to tie it up. And here we are. Frost to the 2nd down and 5. And he checks it down to Roundtree, who's trying to push his way to the 5 and a first down. Darnell Sankey stopping him, but it'll be a 3rd and short coming up here for the Ticats.
Zero hesitation from Scott Milanovic. Oh, hey. That's Parker McKenna coming up. Good football play. Pulled him just short. They're going short yardage. There was no hesitation.
3rd and 2. Dolegala in. They're going for it. Lunging across. He has to get to the 5. We'll see where they spot the football here. Could this be another 1st and goal coming up here for Hamilton? It is a first down signaled by Andre Prue, and Dolegala doing his job again. Heading off, Frost heading back on. This drive continues.
You see that peek by Dolegala off the right side. He saw something he liked there. Right side of that offensive line. That includes Jonathan Dennis at guard in his first start. And a nice push there from his whole line up front. And I think Middlemost also contributed from the tight end spot.
Yeah, big changes to the right side of that O-line, as you talked about, for the Ticats with Dennis and Swartout. Here we go to throw. 1st and goal. Rolling right, and he gets gets hit as he throws it into the end zone for Smith. There were two receivers, Max Mang as well, and a slew of Lions defenders, but just a half a second later, he wouldn't have got that ball away at all as there was pressure coming in behind him.
He had some time initially, and then as he tries to escape the pocket, pressure coming from the backside. That ball, a second throw from Frost that was free game up there for Lions defender. Deontay Williams dropped one early. It looked like TJ Lee had a shot at that one.
Second and goal at the 5. Harrison Frost at his first CFL start. Looking to the left. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Harrison Frost. A touchdown pass as a starter, and it's Curly Gittens Jr. who hauls it in as Hamilton goes in front.
Tremendous protection up front for Harrison Frost. It was just three-man pressure, but it was three-man pressure where Frost understands that I have a little time to allow Curly Gittens to get past that jam and get over the middle. Get just past the logo. Good patience by Harrison Frost, just holding in that pocket. He knows he's got three-man pressure. He's got 5 guys protecting up front. He had time to let his receiver get over.
So that's his second touchdown pass of the season. He threw one last week in relief of Trey Ford to Kenny Lawler, and that's the second touchdown of the season for Gittens. Started his career in Toronto, went to Edmonton, first year with the Ticats. They're leading the Lions here at BC Place.
Man concept on Curly Gittens down in that goal area. That's what defenses are going to play. Gittens is going to run this post. He's got a flat route coming out of the backfield here and a go route. And it's Jackson Finley that gets caught in the one-on-one on Curly Gittens. But there's a lot of traffic in there. It's almost like a bunch formation. He gets into a trail and the ball's put right where it has to be.
And lo and behold, down 7. 14 unanswered points for the Ticats. They lead it by 7. The kickoff by Leggio to Jaden Williams up at the 30. And he gets hit hard, taken down at the 33. That's Robert Panabaker. And Jordan Crook coming in on special teams for the Ticats. Harrison Frost. A touchdown toss to Gittens. There's Caden Salter, who got his first CFL start last week in Winnipeg. Only threw for 96 suits, but 10 rushes for 160 yards.
Yeah, that was the number that jumped off the page. I mean, 160 yards rushing. And he reminds me a little of a Damon Allen, but almost a young Vernon Adams, the way he runs in the open field. Real smooth, great speed, and then that combined with Horvath. Wow, what a game on the ground.
And that's Horvath with the ball now, and he had a big day. 191, 160 for the quarterback, 377 for the team. Absolutely running wild against the Blue Bombers.
So tell me you don't feel a little, especially on those RPO plays, that looks like a little bit like VA to me. And then smooth acceleration is Damon Allen, who had over 10,000 yards rushing. He's number 3 all time.
Incredible when you think about it.
Yeah, and for over 40,000 passing for Damon Allen. So I'm not comparing the two. He's got a lot of work to do, but he provided a spark, no question about it, against the Bombers.
Yeah, amazing running performance. Pressure coming in on Rourke, and he does get away. And nearly completed that to Hatcher. And what a remarkable effort by Rourke when he was facing the heat and nearly got it into number 4's hands.
Yeah, right now for the BC Lions, they've got to get their receivers, got to get them straightened out here. Now that was a play on defense too. I mean that's a good knockdown by Cook.
Jordan Crook in there.
Yeah. Broke downhill on that and made the play, knocked it out of Keon Hatcher's hands. But we've seen 3 or 4 drops now from sure-handed BC Lions receivers.
So instead, that 2 and out, they'll have to punt. So Ticats with the lead, got the ball back after a 48-yard punt. And here's Isaiah Wooden, and loses his footing up around the 33. Kenny Lawler, always explosive, certainly had his moments against these BC Lions. His team's ahead by 7. back with our Fisher Investment stat of the game as we look at the active leaders in receiving in the CFL. Now, we leave Geno Lewis's name up there, just let go by the Red Blacks, but you have to think he's going to get picked up at some point this season. And Kenny Lawler, 3 yards away from getting to 6,000. He's ahead of Tim White now of the Blue Bombers. Those are your active leaders. Nick Dembski in behind Geno Lewis.
Yeah, Kenny Lawler has been sort of crawling towards those numbers over the last few weeks because of the quarterback situation in Hamilton.
Hamilton has a lead. They have the ball. Back to Harrison Frost, to Carrick Wheatfall. And he turns it up. And he is then pushed the other way. You talked about Parker McKenna and what an impact he's had on that Lions defense so far.
Well, in the first couple of weeks of the season, Lions defense has given up a lot of yards, a lot of points. And I think that's where maybe the biggest change has been is Parker McKenna's come in. He's got 33 defensive plays. He leads his team in forced fumbles, and he's bringing the hammer. I mean, he's hitting.
He really is. First year out of Washington State, Parker McKenna, the starting weak side linebacker. It's a 2nd and 6 after that 4-yard pickup. For Frost to throw again. 4-man rush. Deep shot down the left. No, looking for Wheatfall. And good chance there, but the coverage was there for BC. We got a 3rd down coming up for the Cats.
Yeah, Stanley Thomas Oliver was almost just waiting for Frost to throw this ball. I mean, he was in a trail, and I understand why Frost wanted to try this deep shot down the rail because it looked like his receiver was open, but that was just basically baiting him to throw it. Thomas Oliver was sitting in the back end of that, just waiting for the ball to be in the air, and then timed his knockdown.
And Wheatfall had a shot at that one, even with the tight coverage. McCarthy with the punt. 58-yard punt, Mitchell McCarthy. And there's Jaden Williams and Jordan Crook and Robert Panabaker in on that. Let's get more on Harrison Frost now. Go back to Farhan.
Yeah, Rod Suits mentioned earlier in the broadcast that he's got a coaching background. That happened in 2023. After he finished playing college football, he spent a year as a graduate assistant at the University of Virginia. Now, Harrison Frost's grandfather is in the Ohio State High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame. He's a legendary coach in that area, and that's where his grandson got the bug to do it. His college coach was able to connect him with the University of Virginia. He learned there just about detail of preparation, and he really felt that that was going to be his path. He didn't think he'd get an opportunity to play collegiate football. His parents were engineers. In fact, he went to college on an engineering scholarship, but he soon learned that's not what I necessarily want to do for a living. So the coaching bug bit him, and he believes that once he's done playing professionally, he will go back there. One of his mentors was Tony Elliott, the head coach at the University of Virginia, and he said that his motto was build elite-level men by reaching their heart, not their talent. That's the philosophy he wants when he eventually becomes a coach.
Yeah, Farhan, it was really interesting talking to him the other day about all that. And here he is, 27. He'd already gone and looked into coaching as a grad assistant a few years ago, as you mentioned, Virginia. And sounds like a coach when we're talking to him. And a quarterback right now. And the other QB, Nathan Rourke, after a great start, 5 in a row in completions for the Lions star quarterback, aiming there for McInnes, and so just like that, Lions punting unit heads back on.
Yeah, Frost will get the ball back, and one of the other connections to the Canadian Football League that Harrison has had in his past is June Jones, former Hamilton Tiger Cat head coach, guy that you go back to the run and shoot, Mouse Davis in Portland State.
And got him to consider Canada.
Absolutely, is a guy that he trusted, and June Jones saying, you'd be good up there.
So not much for the Lions offense since they opened up with a touchdown, a 60-yard punt by Carl Meyer and Wooden on the return. The global phenomenon is back for a thrilling new season, and the war for the Iron Throne has ignited. HBO's House of the Dragon. You can stream it now, only on Crave. Back at BC Place, conclusion of Week 10. He got through to halfway of the season, make the turn next week. And for the Ticats at 3-5, today marks the halfway point after this game, hoping to make the turn at 4-5, and they have the lead right now. Part 2 of a doubleheader earlier on. The Alouettes beating the Edmonton Elks in Montreal. handoff to Roundtree, and not much there. Like stiffen up. Parker McKenna, Jackson Finley coming in.
Get a little real close-up look to Parker McKenna and how he scrapes to the hole, slides back underneath the block, and even gets around his own player and some friendly fire to get to that tackle.
So no gain, 2nd and 10. Ticats up at their 33. Heading to the 3-minute warning soon. The clock ticks down. Hamilton with the lead. And Frost completes that to Kenny Lawler up at the 40, still shy of a first down. Still a few yards away.
Yeah, it's one thing when you're inside the opponent's 15-yard line to go for it on a 3rd and 2. It's another at this point in the field. We'll see what Scott Milanovic decides here. Because it's about 3.
Still a few yards shy there. And 3rd down coming up. 3-minute warning. The way this started, it looked all BC, but Ticats have turned it around. They have the 14-7 lead.
Coming up at the half, Milt awards his Dog of the Week. But we're having technical difficulties.
Why are your credentials on there?
What's wrong with you?
Hold on here.
It's the Dog of the Week. Come on, Smitty.
I wish I could see what they're doing, because it sounds like fun. Any technical problems are temporary, because we're heading to Kate and the studio panel of Enoch and Milton coming up at halftime as the Ticats and a 57-yard punt by Mitch McCarthy on that 3rd and 2, and good coverage on teams down there for the Ticats again. You see Crooks and Andy Litre in there. So, yeah, Nathan Rourke, 5 for 5 start and a touchdown, but since then it's been a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, BC Lions have had 5 offensive series in this first half. This will be number 6. He's 1 for his last 8, but in the last 4 series has had, at least in 3 of those series, key drops. One by Keon Hatcher, completely unheard of. Justin McInnes, and also Jermaine Jackson. That ended drives, and then a couple of throws that were off the mark in the last series. This is an important one for him.
Just outside their 20 on a 1st and 10. Running play, and the first running play for James Butler, who was injured last week, could not play in Winnipeg. And we talked a lot about Xander Horvath, but Butler introduced to the offense in this game for the first time.
Nothing motivates you more as a player than the guy behind you on the depth chart.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what coaches say. That guy behind you on the depth chart's playing well. That motivates you.
A former rushing champion. He was 3rd in rushing yardage a year ago, James Butler. The 2nd down and 3. And a little flea flicker. And Rourke unloading it from McInnes, and a flag is out, but he is taken off. Ahead of Jamal Peters, 82 yards into the end zone for a Lions touchdown. And we did see a flag come out right at the point where he caught the ball. The flea flicker, Xander Horvath tossing it back to Rourke, who unloaded. McInnes takes it.
Defensive pass interference. Hamilton number 2. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was going to be offensive pass interference or defensive. It was Justin McInnes working with Jamal Peters down the sideline. And McInnes wanted to cut across his face, get inside, which he accomplished. And then it was a foot race to the end zone. But the penalty on Peters, that'll obviously be declined. Touchdown, BC.
And Sean White is on for the point after. And we got a tie ball game. And for whatever was bothering Nathan Rourke and the offense with the 2 and outs that they were going through after that great opening possession, one big play, relived by McInnes. Get some congrats there on the sideline as he picks up a touchdown on that big catch.
Yeah, Vander Horvath with a little pitch back to Nathan Rourke, who is snugged up nicely in that pocket so that there's a couple of defenders around him, but he's still got a throwing lane to get it out there to McInnes. And then it's a foot race. Peters almost catches him, but that'll make a lot of those drops and negative thoughts go away quickly when you get to the halftime tying it up on a long play like that. Still time on the clock at 2 minutes. It happens fast in Canadian football, doesn't it?
It sure does. 2 plays, 89 yards, 31 seconds for McInnes, by the way. That's his first touchdown of the season. Big one it was. 82 yards on the flea flicker from Nathan Rourke. That'll make him feel a whole lot better. 2:16 on the clock till halftime. We got a tie ball game. Second longest offensive touchdown this season.
2 things about that drive. One is to get rid of those negative thoughts on the drops, the series that ended in punts. The other is they got the run game going again.
As Isaiah Wood on the return.
We got the run game going on that at the beginning of that drive. So Xander Horvath, or first it was James Butler on the run. Then Horvath comes in and they run it, look like they're going to run it again. They do the flea flicker back to Nathan Rourke. So again, I think Buck Pierce has now looked at it and said, right, we got to get back to the run game on first down. And then our pass game opens up from there. A little play action gives Nathan Rourke a little more time, and it really doesn't matter which back they have in there. Both are productive.
Well, I know they want to get Horvath more involved. We talked to Buck about that, but you got James Butler, Xander Horvath alone, what you can do. Getting them their touches. Harrison Frost had a man in his face there as he gets rid of that, but there was some pressure on him looking for Wheatfall incomplete.
Yeah, pressure coming from the linebacking core. Basically, it was Deontay Williams coming on the blitz, I believe, and a little extra pressure. This is just an added pressure package with a free hitter off the edge. And Mike Benavides, I'm sure, is thinking, this young quarterback's starting to get like he has a feel for the game. Let's try and disrupt that with a little more pressure.
Got Lorenzo Malden in there in the D line with Casey Sales. Malden wearing 93. Here's the pressure coming, and they've got him. Just as you talked about right away. They go firing in and take him down quickly for a loss. That is Darnell Sankey, the blitzing middle linebacker.
Yeah, Parker McKenna was going too. So that's just clearly a little bit of a chess game going on here. McKenna's going to come, and you're going to see from the middle, it's going to be Darnell Sankey as well. Here they come, full-on blitz. Free hitter is Sankey, and smart play by Harrison Frost just to not take a huge hit from the middle linebacker. Little lighter in the pocketbook because of the hit on Chad Kelly a couple weeks ago, but he's their guy in the middle.
Sankey, the veteran, came over as a free agent from the Alouettes. So Mitchell McCarthy punting this one again. Tie game, 63-yard punt. Still lots of time for the Lions if they can get something going again. Up to the 35 for Williams. So the last play for Nathan Rourke and Justin McInnes resulted in a touchdown for BC. See what they got here with 1:33 on the clock until halftime.
It is lots of time. Nathan Rourke to go back to work. And that balance in the run games early on in this drive at 1:33, you could still go to it. A little swing pass.
It's Butler in the backfield. He takes the ball and trying to break tackles, but no, he'll lose a yard or two as the Ticats are all over James Butler there.
Yeah, that's what I mean about Buck Pierce. Again, reminding himself about the run game and the importance of that balance. Even though there was no yards gained, in fact, a couple lost here. It looks like that coming out in this second half, the Lions are going to want to keep that balance and keep the run game involved.
Well, Butler has a history with both these teams. He started in BC, went to Hamilton for a couple of seasons, went over 1,000 yards, had a big game here as a visitor. It's the Lions on second down. That is complete to Javon Catoy. He is a catch in his return and a first down up over the 50. Catoy, who got injured against the Riders in their opening game back in June.
We didn't even ask Nathan Rourke about Javon Catoy, and he just volunteered the fact that he's excited about him being back.
They work quickly in the 1st and 10. Under a minute to go till halftime, and they get across midfield. As that's Jermaine Jackson the receiver there. 53 seconds to go.
Javon Catoy can do so much for this offense. I mean, he is a huge add to get him back from the injured list. He was hurt in that first game, but he can play tight end. Great blocker in the run game for Horvath or James Butler. But don't fall asleep on him. He'll get in behind you in a hurry. He's got downfield speed.
So 5 yards there for Jackson after that first catch by Catoy. He had some catches back in Saskatchewan in that opener before he got injured. Part of a slew of receiver injuries early this season for the BC Lions. Rourke to throw to the left and overthrows Hatcher. And had him there open. Would have been near a first down. A little frustration as he rips the helmet off, because we have a third down coming up here for the Lions, and they're going to have to punt.
Well, the BC Lions from the receiving core, after that first drive where they looked real sharp, that's been a couple now, and look at them talking to themselves. I mean, Nathan Rourke coming off the field talking to himself. He knows that was on him. And I saw the receivers doing it in the earlier series as they walked to the bench after a drop.
There's 32 seconds left. The punt by Carl Meyer. And that one goes out of bounds in the air. And if that happens outside the 15, it's a flag. Illegal punt out of bounds. 26 seconds. That's all the Ticats have left here till halftime.
You're on the road. You're
Illegal
Hamilton.
punt out of bounds. BC number 17. 10-yard penalty will be enforced from where the ball went out of bounds. First down.
Listen, you're in Hamilton Tiger Cats. If it's me, I mean, Scott Milanovic will make the call here, but push it. Go ahead, see if you can get 2 plays and get in field goal range.
Well, that's a net gain of 10 yards.
Exactly.
On that punt by Meyer with the penalty. So Hamilton, yeah, I mean,
one chunk play, you're almost in field goal range.
For Leggio. So they're at their 43. So yeah, they do need one big chunk here. 26 seconds to go. Get something right there. Keandre Smith gets out of bounds, midfield, 20 seconds. There's still time. One more play to get it close enough for Leggio to try a field goal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is a great throw to the outside, and a heads-up decision by Keandre Smith to get out and get what he can, get the 14 yards, and then get out of bounds. He might have got 1 or 2 more, but he saved 2 or 3 seconds, which is more important.
Leggio's longest this season is 53. He's 2 for 2 from 50 plus so far this season. Let's see if they can just get a little bit closer. At the Lions 53 right now. They'd be a little over 60 yards away at this point. 15 seconds on the clock as they don't get this play off. A little discussion about time.
Please reset the game clock to 20 seconds.
Say, where did those 5 seconds go?
Former quarterback Scott Milanovic be all over that.
Oh yeah. Well, at this
important
stage,
5 seconds.
Yeah, very important 5 seconds. So back to 20. Here we go. Quickly caught. They get close enough to try one. It's Gittins. 15 seconds now, so they can still run another play or 2. 11 more yards for Gittins, who has a touchdown in this half. First down. Field goal territory now for Hamilton.
Get Roundtree going. Give him one. They're going to throw it.
The 42. Looking to throw. 10 seconds on the clock. Falls incomplete. Clock is down to 8 in a 2nd and 10. Do you run one more play? We'll be looking at around a 50-yard try right now for Leggio.
That's why I was looking at a Roundtree run, get another 3-4. And get it a little closer for Leggio.
Of course, we've seen it, Suits, happen a couple of times, including here with the Argos and Lions. This very field a couple of weeks ago. Poor clock management at the end of the half. They just want to make sure they don't run out of time before getting a shot at it.
They're going to get it into the middle.
Yeah, they're just going to center it up here. Pushing ahead is Harrison Frost to get it inside the 40. And a few yards closer for Mark Leggio, who's coming on the field now, product of Western Ontario in his 6th year. 15-17 on the season, as mentioned, a longest of 53.
The other thing about throwing it on first down when they got up to this part of the field was when you throw it, three things can happen. Two of them are bad for the offense.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a risk, but they did get it closer on second down for Leggio.
Ball will be snapped by Gordon White. It will be put down by Mitchell McCarthy and 47 yards away just inside for Mark Leggio to give the Ticats the lead at halftime here at BC Place. Out, down, kicked. And it is good. So Leggio puts it through. 3 more on the board for the Ticats. And yes, after that slow start for Scott Milanovich's offense and defense, with BC scoring very quickly out of the gate, they turned this game around and they have the 3-point lead.
And if you're Harrison Frost, you're looking at a great start in your very first start to be going toe-to-toe and have a lead going in at halftime with last year's MOP on the road here in BC. After a shaky start, this drive really got him going. That deep throw to Lawler, you got Carrick Wheatfall a couple of touches. And he is standing by right now with Farhan.
Harrison, you have looked more and more comfortable as this half has progressed. What's allowed that to happen?
I'm just trying to do what Scott tells me to do. You know, we're just going to try to keep going in the second half.
You've also had no hesitation in pushing the ball down the field. How much of that is just you wanting to prove you can do it versus maybe what they're giving you?
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with trying to prove anything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to do my job.
That final drive, how much did that matter for you to get some momentum back with the field goal?
Yeah, it's good. Hopefully we can keep it going in the second half.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
Pretty impressive, hey? That was... Kate, Harrison Frost has his team ahead by 3. Not many expected it, but it's right there for them. Let's send it to you at the break.
That was a really impressive interview there, Farhan. And we like to call this segment Milt Translates what players really wanted to say. Harrison, you had a very nice start to the game. How do you break this one down so far?
Man, I should have been starting 2 weeks ago. I'm killing these suckers out here, man. Talking about.
This is the best new segment other than Dog of the Week, in my opinion. Back alongside Enoch Mwamba and Milt Stiegel. And all of a sudden, the Hamilton Tiger Cats currently up by 3. And I don't think a lot of people, especially with Nathan Rourke coming back, gave the Ticats a big chance in this game because they were starting for the first time Harrison Frost. And let's talk about him first here, Enoch. You got to give it to the kid. He doesn't have many words to say, but 139 yards. And you know what he does? I'll tell you this, that Trey maybe wasn't doing as much, and something maybe Scott Milanovich was looking for. I mean, he is not afraid of some of these deep balls. He got that offense rolling at times, and I think even the connection, a few passes to Kenny Lawler, it seems to be working. And look, if they can get even more out of him in the second half, they certainly have a chance here.
Absolutely. I'm anticipating a little bit more confidence as well. He went through a half. He's going to get into the locker room right now, calm down a little bit, and start to understand the system a little bit more. But you gotta absolutely look at the first half and be impressed. I'm super impressed by the way that he performed thus far right now. He was able to connect with Kenny Lawler, and a guy who we were expecting so much from him. He hasn't had a single 100-yard game this season yet. This might be the one. He's already at 42 yards, and the way that Harrison Frost is looking right now, he's comfortable in the pocket. You still want him to kind of have a better pocket awareness. We're looking and talking about just kind of a better idea of some defenders being around you. But he's doing a great job right now. Look, 13 of 19, 139 yards, 0 interceptions. That's key right there for a guy who's starting for the first time with this team. So kudos to him on the first half. This is going to be a big second half for him if they want to pull it off.
Now, let's go to Nathan Rourke for a moment here, too. Before that flea flicker, he was 6 of 13 for 69 yards, but that seemed to spark their offense. But then they regressed a little bit. And, Milt, I think overall, you're just looking at an offense that quite isn't in sync right now, and maybe that's because Nathan has been gone for the 3 games.
Yeah, they're not in rhythm, and it's not all on Nathan Rourke. Some of the receivers, they dropped some passes. The running game hasn't been in sync, and I'm sure Buck Pierce saw that also, and that's why he did that flea flicker to try to create something, to get some magic going within this offense, because he knows he has a quarterback. Once he does get in the rhythm, the capabilities of that offense can be spectacular. But right now, I'm sure there has to be some concern. They're playing against a team with the quarterback starting his first CFL game, and they're down. And I'm sure they thought going into halftime they would at least be up, have a comfortable lead. But this play allowed them to do something. But it still wasn't enough. When you have to throw a flea flicker to get a big play out of your offense with a quarterback like Nathan Rourke, That's a problem. So they got to come out in this second half, and they got to find a way to get a rhythm. They got to get a running game going. They got to make some quick passes, get their receivers involved, because right now, that wasn't a good look for the BC Lions.
And kudos to the Tiger Cats defense, too. And we mentioned this before the game, too, but they've been playing very solid and done a very nice job in this first half. Tiger Cats up by 3. Coming up, we have Week 10 highlights. And Milton, it's the dog of the week.
Oh, the dog.
Putting in that work, tearing up the turf, cause I know what I'm worth. We high octane, I'm in my own lane. Moving so fast, you can't catch me. Raising the bar so high, we on Mars. Working so hard, we all stars. And you can't defeat, we are winning team.
Highlights from Week 10. Stampeders taking on the Argonauts late in the first. Tied at 7. Vernon Adams Jr. There it is. Finally picked off. The first time this season. Benji Franklin snapping VA's streak. 299 consecutive pass attempts paired with 21 TDs. Let's jump to the fourth. Still tied. Brady Lidster is going to ice it with that 11-yard walk-off field goal after 2 full months on the road. The Argonauts win their home opener 33-30. Your final. Red Blacks taking on the Rough Riders. Fourth quarter action. Riders up by 14. Jake Mayer looking deep, but he's intercepted by who, Enoch?
John Doe.
Jonathan Edwards. So Saskatchewan with a chance to blow it wide open. Ensuing drive, first and goal. Tommy Stevens under center calls his own number.
Don't break my record.
He's going to break Milt's record. Oh, no.
Tommy 316 over here.
I love it. Elks, Alouettes, second quarter action, tie game, but Alouettes first and goal. Davis Alexander with time. Spots a wide open.
What are you supposed to do as a defense with
Tyson Philpott.
Great.
Nothing, Ray. It's a good idea. After Philpott scored another, Al's up big in the fourth. Alexander. Oh, it's a 50-yard shot. Guess who? Philpott again. What an amazing leaping grab. Philpott catching 3 of Alexander's 4 TD passes paired with 131 yards. Wow. The Owls dominate in this one.
Wow.
I have many questions about this graphic. Is that steroids in your water bottle?
Who was that man?
I don't know. It doesn't look like Milt,
If I take off my shirt, that's what I look like.
Get out of here with that,
Less
Milton.
than a minute. Who's your dog of the week?
All right. A special shout out to Bubba Bolden.
Bubba.
He had an opportunity, but I got to go back to Montreal. I got to go back to Tyson Philpott. Once again, his second time winning dog of the week, baby. 10 catches, 131 yards, and 3 steagles. That's what they call touchdowns.
Stop it, Mill.
3
No, they don't.
steagles. This
Never
man,
caught
Tyson
that.
Philpott, is on a mission. You know why I'm happy I can give it to Tyson? Because I never could have gave it to his father, Corey, when he played.
That's
because
crazy.
he was soft as hospital cotton. So I'm giving it to Tyson once again. Dog of the week. This is his second time winning. We're going to change this award in a second to Tyson Dog of the Week award.
might
He keeps playing like that.
You know what? I'd like to award my own dog of the week. I instead am going to give it to one Tommy Stevens because you know what?
This is crazy.
This is what we do now. We have a comparison board of Tommy Stevens.
Oh, my
I can't even read this against Milt Stiegel, but Tommy is on pace to break his TD record.
If Tommy breaks my record,
Dog of the
I'm done.
year.
I'm done. I'm leaving Canada.
Dog of the year, Tommy Stevens.
Halftime at BC Place, the Ticats leading the Lions 17-14. BC started strong, but Harrison Frost settled down, and they got the lead late with a field goal. But Justin McInnes, 3 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown now, standing by with Farhan.
Justin, the first drive was a thing of beauty. After that, things bogged down, some drops, some missed throws. What happened?
Yeah, it's just lack of focus. You know, it's on us as wideouts. We had a few drops out there. Can't happen. Got to go out there and make a play.
Were you surprised given how good the practice week was?
Yeah, but you know, that's football. It's adversity. You know, you got to flush it. Second half of ball, got to go win the half, win the game.
Tell me about your flea flicker touchdown, first of the season. Did that give you some momentum back?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Nate just, you know, we missed a few times earlier in the day. That's him just trusting me, putting the ball in the area, me making a play.
Thanks, Shemek.
Thank you.
Yeah, McInnes had one of the drops earlier on, but certainly making amends with that 82-yard touchdown to get them back into a tie before the late field goal by the Ticats.
Well, at the end of the half, both Nathan Rourke, the receiving core, and pretty much the whole offensive group were talking to themselves. Coming off the field talking to yourself, you've got a few things to make adjustments in the halftime and get things fixed and get back out here in this second half. Like Justin McKinnis said, well, they'll get the ball first.
Yes, they will. And Mark Leggio to kick it off at the 30. Leggio ending the first half with a 47-yard field goal that has given the Ticats the start to the second half with a 3-point lead. Jaden Williams inside the 15 for BC. And cuts it up. And once again, we see Crook. And that's Ronan Horrell, product of UBC, and on that special teams tackle.
So as Farhad mentioned, Nathan Rourke in his very first drive back from injury. Remember, it was the second play of the Edmonton game 3 games ago, the last time he played, but it was sharp in that first drive. He went 5 for 5 in the opening drive for 54 yards and a touchdown. Then after that, couple of drops until this big play real late in the half. A little momentum going into halftime.
So from the 32, BC starts. Little play fake, and then throwing it into coverage there. Jamal Peters right there with McKinnis, and that is broken up by Hamilton.
Katsatonis came downhill there. He was basically, this is a little RPO looking play.
Look at some of those first half drops for the BC receivers. And the misthrow there by Rourke, and just frustration for that offense. Off to James Butler now on the second down and 10. He gets up across the 35. Picks up 5 yards, but still short of a first down. And that's it for the Lions in their opening possession of the second half. They'll have to punt it away.
Yeah, Nathan Rourke is lucky he didn't get that picked off on that first play. And that RPO play, he wanted to go to the flat first. It was covered, so he went to the curl inside, and Stavros Katsatonis almost had his 4th interception.
Carl Meyer to punt it for BC from his 25. And it is Wooden inside his 25 as he immediately breaks to the right. Tries to find the edge. He's got some room. And it's Jacob Bond who tackles him, but not until he gets across the Hamilton 50, close to midfield to start their opening possession of the second half as Harrison Frost, in his first CFL start, will come on 13 of 19 for 139 yards and a touchdown pass as well. Not a bad debut, especially after a shaky start, Suits.
This is the one advantage, I think, Rod, that Hamilton has here tonight, personnel-wise. A great returner. Lions don't have that right now, and it's a big difference in field position.
28-yard return by Wooden. He had a big one as well in the first half. Better field position to work with here for Frost. Off to the right, and that's too far. He wanted Roundtree, but there was coverage there as well by the Lions, even if he had caught it.
So Frost's first series last half, basically almost threw an interception to Deontay Williams. He just bounced off his chest and then settled in with a real nice drive. A couple of deep throws, very confident deep throws, as a matter of fact. One to Kenny Lawler, one for a touchdown, DeAndre Smith.
And Hamilton's 3 for 10 in second down conversions. They got a 2nd and 10 here. At their 51. Pressure coming, and you can tell as Frost gets that away. The closest receiver was Myron Mitchell, but it falls incomplete, and the Lions starting to bring the heat there again. 3rd down.
Yeah, I was going to say, as that half went on, Mike Benavides, the defensive coordinator, decided to go with a little more add-in pressure. Not necessarily exotic pressure packages where you're sending more than they can block, just sending them from different spots. In the secondary, you can come from a halfback blitz or strong linebacker blitz.
10 combined 2-and-outs in this game so far. A punt of 46 yards. Jaden Williams. And again, good coverage on the punt. Tyson Middlemost and Ante Litre in there as they put Williams down at the 20. Justin McKinnis. Heard him lamenting the drops and the mistakes in the first half, but a big play as well. As as he picked up a touchdown, an 82-yarder on a flea flicker. Lions with the ball, trailing by 3. The Lions, the league's top rushing team, thanks to what they did in one big game, Suits, last week in Winnipeg.
377 yards is going to push you up the ladder when it comes to your average rush yards per game. That's basically 3 games. When you add,
that's crazy.
You want to get to 100 yards as a team. Certainly tailbacks want that number. That's a record breaker for the BC Lions.
Yeah, you saw at the bottom there, first time ever, 2 rushers getting over 160 yards
ever.
At least. Yeah, in a game, in a single game, with Caden Salter as well as Horvath. The fake to Horvath by Rourke. Rolling out, pressure coming. He gets it off to McInnes nicely, who turns it up and gets it up across the 40.
Real good patience by Justin McInnes here. Because with Nathan Rourke on the run, McInnes had a defender right in front of them that had to make a decision. Do I stay with my guy in McInnes, or do I come up and help to contain Rourke? As soon as he left, McInnes was open. And there he goes. It was Bynum. 20-yard gain.
Right up to the 42 now in that pickup. 1st and 10, BC. Down 3, third quarter. Xander Horvath running. We showed you that graphic earlier in Winnipeg when he nearly had 200 yards rushing and picks up just a couple of yards that time. Wynton McManus, veteran linebacker, first year with Hamilton.
Yeah, he was there. He was ready to scrape to that run. No question about a big hit right in the middle. Magna was part of that tackle as well.
And so Horvath with 5 carries for 23 yards. We did see James Butler in for a couple of carries, had a 7-yarder earlier on in the first half, just before the touchdown for BC. 2nd and 7 at their 45. Quickly going to work, completing the pass. You talked about how quick Nathan Rourke can be. That's Javon Catoy with his 2nd catch of this game.
Yeah, not only is it a quick decision, processing speed high here, but also to throw it on the outside shoulder.
So a first down up near midfield for Rourke. Has time again, and that one, closest target is Jermaine Jackson with Wynton McManus in the area, and that hits the turf and falls incomplete.
Yeah, I think Nathan Rourke threw that one away. There was too much traffic in the middle there. He just one-hopped that one on purpose because he lays out that throw, and there might be some kind of collision over the middle there. Or worse, an interception.
Yeah, Rourke started at 5 for 5 and the touchdown, and he's 12 for 22 now for 209. Couple of touchdown passes at the BC 54 now. On the 2nd down, has time in the pocket, completes this 1-2 up near a first down. Very close to the 45 of Hamilton. Javon Catoy again.
So that early movement before the snap to get Horvath out here, you get Horvath out and then he has to come back. That was just a way for Nathan Rourke to get a good pre-snap read on what Hamilton wanted to do defensively. He saw that they were just going to come with straight 3-man pressure. He knew where he wanted to go with the ball after that.
Well, for Buck Pierce and Nathan Rourke, it really hasn't had sustained actions mentioned in 5 weeks since the 2nd touchdown. Kelowna hands off to Butler. Another carry. James Butler working his way through. Keeps the legs going with Julian Hauser wrapping him up, but gain of 8 more yards there for Butler.
Kind of 2 different style running guys too. When you have Xander Horvath, you got a big power back, almost fullback with great top end speed, and then with Butler, he can make himself small in the hole. Hard to tackle, low center of gravity, great feet, quickness when he attacks the line of scrimmage.
So he is off. Horvath is back in this game right now. It is a 2nd down and 2 after that 8-yard pickup by James Butler. Inside the Ticats 40, Horvath has it right side. And that's Miles Fox. Good work, 91 coming in, getting some help from Braxton Hill and Wynton McManus to deny a first down there. Looks like a 3rd and short coming up here for BC.
Denies the first down, but gets them close enough that short yardage will come out. Xander Horvath has been part of that for the Lions as well.
So Butler comes in, but Horvath there, you're right. That's been his role, one of several that Xander Horvath has had, but You see Nathan Rourke still in there as well. Rourke does stay out here in the short yardage situations.
I think Wynton McManus just caught a cramp in his calf. He went down. Before the snap of the ball, something happened. He was just getting lined up.
Well, he missed several games at the start of the season, injured, and his debut with the Ticats after coming over from the Argos was delayed. Now getting some attention. Starting his career with the Calgary Stampeders before going to Toronto and winning a couple of championships.
He was basically walking out trying to get lined up. Right here. Just getting lined up, getting ready. Calling out the signals to the rest of it, and boom, down he goes. Now, is he a real good actor?
I was just...
And he started looking at the formation going, you know what? This isn't right. We've got the wrong personnel out here. Maybe I'll just have a calf injury and go down quickly.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, I mean, he has to stay out now for 3 plays.
Yeah.
That's the downside of that decision. However, you don't want to be caught with short a man either.
3rd and 1. Rourke in behind. Horvath, short yardage. And he bounces off a couple of blocks and does pick it up easily. Xander Horvath. Sticks move inside the 35 here for BC.
Yeah, Xander Horvath, he doesn't look it, I think, if you're watching as a fan, but he's 6'3", 230. And this is a big boy.
And he's got some speed, too.
No question.
One of those touchdown runs last week, and he had 3 TDs, but against Winnipeg, get into the secondary, he's out running.
You need a tight end? How about Xander Horvath?
Power and speed. And their short yardage specialist with Rourke continuing the 4-man rush, completes it to Keon Hatcher. Kept his feet, too, put a hand down, and ends up getting 4 or 5 more yards inside the Ticats 20 and a first down.
Again, that's right in that curl zone with Hatcher coming in on this motion, and then he curls over the middle.
And right back to work to Catoy. Reggie Stubblefield on the tackle, but not until he picks up 6-7 more yards. Javon Catoy, his first game back since their opener back in Regina in week 2. Ten plays, 75 yards and counting for Buck Pierce in that Lions offense. Down by 3, but in scoring position now. And we get a 2nd down and 4 coming up after that pickup by Catoy. From the Hamilton 13, Rourke. Caught inside the 5 to Butler. Gets him down to the 2 and a 1st and goal coming up here for the Lions.
All about layers on this play. When that early motion gives another pre-snap read to Nathan Rourke, he wants to get a deep route, and then right in behind that, a different layer. So it doesn't matter if you have 9 or 8 back there in coverage. You've got to go at least a couple of steps underneath with the deeper route.
Knocking on the door after a 12-yard pickup. James Butler, Horvath in again. Short yardage offense. Leaps over and gets into the end zone, and another touchdown for Xander Horvath. Already had one receiving in this game. That one rushing in his 7th rushing TD of the season.
Part of the short yardage team kept the drive alive with that 3rd and 1. Decides to go over the top here. Again, off that left side. Corey Woodruff leading the way at left tackle.
Xander Horvath. Really making his presence felt, especially the last couple of games with BC. Point after Sean White. And the Lions are in the lead again. Up by 4 after this 12-play drive. Capped off by that 34. Picks up 6. The latest touchdown drive for BC, an impressive one in 12 plays.
And this is the example that Buck Pierce told us about, that he was going to go with both tailbacks at different times. So the passing game, yeah, it's getting back in sync. James Butler getting involved down near the goal line, and there's the other one in Xander Horvath taking it from center off the left side. Basically a short yardage formation, but down on the goal line.
Horvath with 2 of the Lions, 3 touchdowns. Justin McInnes has the other. Isaiah Wooden can't find the handle, and finally does. Up across his 20. Is still on his feet at the 35, and he does well, given the way that return started when he fumbled the football to get it up to the 40. Isaiah Wooden. Back to the Ticats, are now trailing BC by 4. An updated look at the touchdown leaders in the Canadian Football League. Xander Horvath just picking up his 10th. He's got 2 today. And this is for the non-quarterbacks. You see at the bottom, Tommy Stevens has 11 to lead the way, Suits.
Yeah, 11 for Tommy Stevens, which, if I heard the panel correctly, is pace to beat Milt Sneagle's
Well, they're keeping
record.
track of it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But Horvath, though, non-QB, he's got 10. Now, Tyson Philpott, you saw on that board, too.
Yeah.
Picking up 3 today in the Alouettes' impressive win over Edmonton in Montreal. And that one for Frost, looking for Wheatfall, and that just sails over his head. Second down.
Nice reaction from Matthew Betts. He steps up the field, stays wide, doesn't get influenced by the motion. He just steps up here and doesn't get influenced on the inside. See that extra step up the field? That gets him in the throwing lane, and he got his right hand on it.
Just tipped that as it sailed up and over Carrick Wheatfall. 2nd and 10 now. Tide is turning in this game in BC's favor. They have the 4-point lead, and a big second down here for Harrison Frost. With pressure on him, he does complete it. And down goes Kenny Lawler up to the 45, but 6 yards not enough. It's a 3rd down coming up here for Scott Milanovich's Ticats. And Mike Benavides' defense hangs on again to force the Ticats to punt.
Yeah, they're sending the pressure on 2nd down. You'll see how many guys are going to go on the blitz here, including the safety Jackson Finley coming from the middle. Now, Frost saw it. He knew he couldn't block them all, got it out of there, but because they were 2nd and long, they weren't able to convert.
7th time the Ticats have had a 2 and out. Another punt for Mitch McCarthy from the Hamilton 35. Jaden Williams after a 43-yarder. Picks it up at the 20. Gets to the 35. Runs into a crowd there. As we get closer to the end of the 3rd quarter. Under 3.5 minutes. Nathan Rourke. Things looking better now for BC. Back here at BC Place, you look at the long history of the Lions. I can't think of anyone more significant in the history of this club than Neil McAvoy, who's standing by with Farhan.
Neil, your 300th win. I know you weren't fully responsible for all of them, but you've been around here since 1996. You've had virtually every role in the organization, even a little bit of coaching here and there back in those days. Take me through what the journey has been like for you.
Unbelievable. You know, I started with this football team when I was 21 years old, so, you know, this is my family. I've been here for 30 years, and I can't say enough about the organization and all the things we've been through. It's just been a blessing for me and my family, for sure.
The team presented you with a game ball on Wednesday. Wally was a part of that. Bill Rochelle, who's now your father-in-law, was a part of that. Who really stood out in terms of the impact they had on you?
Yeah, those guys. I mean, Wally and guys like Adam Rita and the late Greg Mons and Brendan Tam and Craig Smith, all the guys I've worked with and been with this league. This is an amazing football league, and like I say, I've grown up around it, so I owe everything to all those guys, and I'm just happy to be around.
Neil, thanks so much for doing this. We've got Bob Ackles, the water boy, who moved all the way up. Similar story here for Neil, guys.
Sure is.
Yeah, another significant figure, too, the late, great Bob Ackles as well, Wally Buono. But Neil McAvoy, how about that? 300 victories, and just about every role you could have in management with this Lions football team.
Yeah, outstanding. And, you know, that is a great comparison in Bob Ackles, who came back from the NFL, and really there was a resurgence here as far as the fan base and all of that when Ackles came back. And Neil's been the same kind of guy, like every different position, probably including water boy, all the way back to when he was 21.
21 years old starting, and Grey Cup victories along the way. There's Nathan Rourke over the middle. It's caught again by Catoy. Big first down, Javon Catoy, making his big presence felt here from Nathan Rourke in his first game back. A 32-yard pickup.
vacate the middle, take the safety Katsatonis, who's wide here, and that's exactly where Nathan Rourke's going to go after. Katsatonis went wide to the outside, the wide field hash, as if it was like a cover two, too deep, and he was one of the deep defenders, but trying to split the field in half, and Katoy went right down Main Street.
And Katoy took a knee after that and is still getting some attention from the Lions staff. He signaled the first down after the catch, the big pickup, and they check him out. And it was a thigh injury that kept him out all these weeks. Back in week 2 when he got hurt in their opener. From the Langley Rams,
who I think are 3-0.
Good start.
Start the season.
Yeah.
Langley Rams, led by, I believe, Cole Barron still as their head coach. Congratulations to them.
One of those players get in and do well in the CFL from the juniors. Andrew Harris was another one.
Absolutely.
Katoy goes into the 10th, though, after that big pickup. It's a down to the Hamilton 40. It's a 1st and 10. Lions in business, up 4. Xander Horvath left side. He's got a couple of touchdowns in this game. Ran well until he ran into about a 4 Ticat wall there to push him back after a 5-yard pickup.
Yeah, on that play, the Lions had both running backs, James Butler and Horvath, in the game, but they had Butler out as a wide receiver. And so it gives them an idea to see if the Hamilton Tiger Cats defensively are matching up through personnel, which would have meant a linebacker goes out to cover the tailback. They didn't. So it was his own look, and they run the running play.
5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5. Just 3 rushing. It's deflected, though, nearly picked. Stavros Katsatonis, their interceptions leader, was charging in after it did get deflected, but just couldn't get to the football. It's a 3rd and 5 now for BC.
Was it Winton? Winton back in. He's all of a sudden his calf's okay, and he's back in there dropping, and then realizes where Nathan Rourke is, puts his foot in the ground, comes back inside and gets a tip on it. So I think that was just a wily vet move. Didn't like what he saw personnel-wise on that play and went down.
Here's a wily vet, Sean White. Oh, it's blocked! His field goal try is blocked. Ticats on the ball, picking it up. And Hamilton has the football, denying 3. And blocked at the line. And it is Philip Osai, the one who picked up the football and got it to midfield.
Right down Main Street. Big push up the middle. I couldn't catch the number.
It looked like Mario Kendricks, 22.
It must have been Kendricks.
Some frustration there for the veteran Sean White.
Well, he's only missed 2, and one of the other ones coming into this game was a block.
Was a block as well in Kelowna. Max Mang, the tight end, in goes motion to the right. And Frost goes deep. And it's looking for Kenny Lawler, and Ronald Kent is there and got some help from Jackson Finley as well. But the Lions had that deep ball well covered.
Yeah, they did. That's as good as you can cover that guy. I mean, that's an all-star receiver coming out of the slot with a full head of steam in Kenny Lawler. And it's a little inside shake, and he's going on just that corner seam almost. But you can't cover it any better than Ronald Kent did. He was right underneath that, put a blanket on Kenny Lawler.
Well, we've seen Frost a few times try to push it down the field with a deep shot. Doesn't work there. It's a 2nd and 10 now. To the right, deflected and intercepted. BC football. Deontay Williams off the tip drill. And a big return here as he's still going. And finally, it's big Trevor Reed that pushes him out. But not only do they get the ball back, they get it a long way down the field at the end of the 3rd quarter. And the Lions are already in scoring position again. After the field goal had been blocked, denying 3 points, they get the turnover. Moving all the way back down into the Ticat zone to start the 4th quarter. fourth quarter begins with the Lions having the ball in the scoring territory in Hamilton. But there's a look at the numbers. By the way, time of possession, dominant in the third quarter. BC had it for over 11 minutes.
Yeah, Hamilton with Harrison Frost in his first start has now had to handle some blitz packages and some more pressure from, the BC Lions defense. And when you look at Darnell Sankey, the veteran, this is the next level for Frost. If he wants to be great, he's going to have to stop this. There's the draw, but watch Frost get locked in. Stop it here. Now he gets locked in to looking in this direction. Watch the reaction from Sankey as he opens up and cuts underneath that to get his hands on it. That tips it up to Deontay Williams for the interception. So Frost's next step, and I know this is first start, so it's going to take some time, but you got to look off that linebacker. Hold him in the middle there for a split second longer.
First time he's picked off in this game. Second interception he's thrown. It's James Butler on the carry. This scrimmage from the 29, a long, impressive return for Deontay Williams after that tip drill interception of Harrison Frost.
Big emphasis for Hamilton on eliminating turnovers. And you can see that's why Frost contemplating that last play. Now it was tipped, but he's got to try to, with his look, hold Darnell Sankey from opening up underneath that throw.
So the Ticats, well, they're trailing by 4. So try to limit to a field goal, stay within a score. Rourke working in 2nd and 7. And Katsantonis coming across again. I mentioned the interceptions he's had so far this season. Gets close to that football again, and we got 3rd down, and Sean White will be coming back on.
Yeah, Katsantonis is bouncing around trying to fool Nathan Rourke by position. He went to the opposite hash, tried to show there, then opened up in a big way. And look at him just rob the inside. He's just robbing that middle. The progression for Rourke is to go in behind him with a deep layered post.
So moments after his field goal try was blocked, Sean White another one from 33 yards away, and no problem there. So they do pick up the 3 points to make it a 7-point game. BC ahead. Well, this is week 10, the end of it, and week 11 for the Lions. It's a short week. They're off to face the Stampeders in Calgary and trying to improve to 3-5 in this one. So Thursday night football next week at McMahon, followed by Ottawa versus Winnipeg Red Blacks in an 0-8 hole now after the loss. The Riders Winnipeg coming off a bye. Toronto and Edmonton. And Saskatchewan now alone in first in the West by percentage. They're 6-2. The Elks losing today, falling to 6-3.
Another great performance by Trevor Harris in Saskatchewan. Over 400 yards passing, on pace for 6,000 yard season. Wow.
That'll be the halfway point of the regular season 2 next week. And that's Andy Litre.
So let's see how Harrison Frost, because now they're trailing in the score and have to come back, push the ball 2nd and long here. He knows he's going to see blitz. In these situations, especially in the second half, late in that first half, Mike Benavides went with extra rushers, extra blitzers, trying to get him uncomfortable again, because after the first couple of series of this games, he settled in nicely with some big throws. So they've been coming with pressure. How's he going to handle it?
Mladenovic Litre picked up 2, so it's a 2nd and long. See what BC does. Showing pressure, they come, and it's too short there for the intended receiver inside the Lions 50. That was Kenny Lawler. Frost was trying to get it to him, and instead, Hamilton has to punt it away again.
So as a coach, he's looking at this and he's going to say, I recognized it, I saw it, I got the ball out of my hands in time, I just didn't throw it as accurately as I needed to. He just didn't step into it, didn't get it there. He had the time to do it. The blitz was coming, and he saw it right, read it right, had an open receiver, and just missed it.
Frustrating for Harrison Frost. Certainly had his moments in this game, but 8th 2 and out, a 50-yard punt. Jake Williams a return up to the 34. Last 2 possessions, BC's got in field goal range. They have picked up 3 with a 7-point lead. We should kind of want to go fishing, doesn't it?
Let's go, man. Chinook is running.
Nathan Rourke with 284 passing yards in this game, closing in on another 300-plus game. He's had 24 in his career. Number 25 could be happening tonight as they take over possession in the fourth quarter with a 7-point lead. And given the struggles of Hamilton's offense in the second half, where they have yet to produce a first down, BC can make this a 2-score game. It'll look a lot more comfortable right now. 1st and 10 from the 34. Handing off to Horvath. Goes to the right. Works his way through, and a good gain for Xander Horvath. There's a couple of touchdowns in this one.
Right now, Brent Watson, defensive coordinator for Hamilton, is moving Stavros Katsatonis around in that secondary. They're moving him back and forth. They're keeping him low and keeping them closer to the line of scrimmage at times. And when they break the huddle, Katsatonis will drop back. Remember, he has 3 picks on the year already. So he'll drop back, and then just before snap, he'll start to climb up. Now, this is short yardage, so different idea here, but...
And 1 or 1.5, and they got that no problem up to the 45. First down, BC.
So what that is basically a robber from the safety position. So Katsatonis back here, he'll break the huddle and stay back there, but he'll come down or come over on this side, work his way down into the middle, and then he opens up one way or another. He's had his hands on 2 passes from Nathan Rourke. The downside to do that, and there's an injured Lion right now, but the downside to do that for the Hamilton defense is that Rourke could go over the top on a deep post. Have him come down, draw him down with some sort of dig route underneath, look like he's going to rob it, and then try to hit him over the top.
That's Jacob Bond getting some attention now as they work on his left leg. Injured in the short yardage play with Horvath pushing it over for a first down.
Yeah, that's...
Zamari Walton coming in. And down on the left leg of Bond.
Fairness to Walton, if you're a DB in that scenario, that's what you're doing. You're going down trying to create a pile on the edge. So unfortunate for Bond.
In his second year at the Okanagan Juniors, we had highlighted Jacob Bond in those 2 games in Kelowna, his old home field in his junior days.
Well, that's good news. He started out hopping, has now got a little bit of putting a little weight on it anyway.
A better sign to be sure.
Yeah.
So he heads off. Ball's at the 45. 10:49 and counting here in the fourth quarter. Look at the first downs in the second half. 9-0 BC.
And the true free safety here. There he goes.
To the left. Caught. Katoy. He's just fine. Another first down. Good return for Javon Katoy. Back in the lineup as Nathan Rourke goes over 300 yards for the 25th time in his career.
Yeah, working the sideline here on Jamal Peters. Just broken tackle. Now that's a tough guy to bring down. How about 6'6", 240? 300-yard game for Nathan Rourke. Another one. 60% of his starts, he's been over 300 yards passing.
Even ranking ahead of Doug Flutie in that impressive category. Nathan Rourke. The fake, the throw, tipped, and this time it's Hamilton returning the favor on a tip into Jamal Peters' hand. So here we go in a 7-point game. The Ticats have got to get something going on offense again, but they get a big defensive play. Tip off the fingertips of Keon Hatcher into the hands of Jamal Peters.
You got another receiver for the BC Lions talking to himself on the sideline, and that's their top receiver. And even the best in the business have nights like tonight, and Keon Hatcher's fighting it. I mean, that one, he catches in his sleep. Goes through his hands, tipped right to Jamal Peters, the veteran. Lucky that wasn't a pick six going the other way.
And for Peters, his second interception of the season, 16th of his career. Well, Hamilton needs to start getting first downs. Coming back to the ball, it's caught. DeAndre Smith. And that is their first down of the second half.
move the launch point a little bit, get a little bit deeper in your drop for Frost. And this time it's that deep out route from Keandre Smith, who does come back nicely to the ball. That's right, Rod. I mean, watch him. He's basically a shallow corner. Takes 2 steps back to the ball to separate from Deontay Williams.
Well, they're still within a score if they can get something going now. They're in the Lions zone at the BC 50. A 1st and 10. Harrison Frost, his first CFL start, down 7 points, 4th quarter. And just dumping it off to Larry Roundtree. Puts his head down. He picks up about 3 or 4 yards.
Nice call by Scott Milanovic. So pressure's been causing some problems for Frost in this second half. Milanovic goes with quick recognition on that shallow corner and then the screen. Get the big offensive lineman out front. Get your tailback involved. I know it's not a big gain on 1st down, but more manageable situation here on 2nd.
2nd and 7. Frost his time. He's looking deep. Open receiver, Mitchell! Waiting for a signal. Was he down before crossing the line? No touchdown signal, but a 1st and goal coming up at the 1.
That is a straight bust in the coverage for the BC Lions. Straight bust when you have a receiver that wide open. Myron Mitchell is looking at, and Keon Hatcher said, you know, if I hung on to that throw.
Nola Gallen looking for his 2nd touchdown of the day, and he's got it. Boy, things changed in a hurry for the Ticats again. Impeccable timing after the turnover and the interception by Jamal Peters. Get a big play to take him down near the goal line. They cash in, and a point after away from tying this game.
Good on Harrison Frost, too, just to stay with it, hang in there when things weren't going well in the 3rd quarter, and they were a couple of 2-and-outs, had to punt a few times, and then get their opportunity. The turnover, everybody gets that lift. You get the lift off the turnover and great field position, and then some nice play calls, get the screen involved to Roundtree. And a throw that was a little bit behind Mitchell, but he was so wide open in the bust in the coverage that he could wait on it.
He was standing all by himself to take that one, and they do cap off a 4-play, 66-yard drive. That was after it went off the hands of Keon Hatcher into the hands of Jamal Peters. Points off the turnover. That's the biggest play to get him down there. Halfway through the 4th quarter, we got a 24-24 tie. Tough moment for Keon Hatcher after that interception that ultimately led to a Hamilton touchdown, Farhan.
And Nathan Rourke have different ways of kind of dealing with this. Since that interception, nobody has talked to Keon Hatcher. He hasn't engaged with anybody, hasn't gone and sat with the other receivers and the other offensive people. At one point, Patrice Rene tried to approach him. He didn't acknowledge him. He had his helmet off, was at the trainer's table just sitting, and he still hasn't spoken to anybody. Nathan Rourke went right to the bench, got the tablet out, started looking at film, was upset at something he saw on that film. The ball itself, while it was very catchable, it was also a bit of a flutter ball, so I'm not sure that's what upset him. Either way, both men will get a chance to make amends, but the game is now tied.
Yeah, Farhan, bottom line was it went off Hatcher's hands and into Jamal Peters, and as Suits had talked about it earlier, not his best game. He had a drop in the 1st half as well.
Yeah, no, he's fighting it, you know, and he's fighting it. But that's also what Farhan just talked about is knowing your teammates. There's a little pat on the back. That's all he needs. He knows what's going on. And now they just, before they come out, okay, leave him alone because he's a veteran. No one has to tell Keon Hatcher that he's struggling right now. He knows it. Leave him alone. Little pat. Here you go. He'll be important.
One of the top receivers in the game, number 4. Well, it goes the other way, and it's complete. And a 1st down, 2 up across the 45. That's Kieran Poisson getting into the act here for BC and a 13-yard pickup.
Now, if it was Poisson that was fighting the ball, maybe it's a different engagement. You know, it's probably Nathan Rourke going over there going, you know, talking him up, getting his confidence back up. But for Keon, leave him alone. He's a veteran. He knows what's going on. He'll be important before this is over, guaranteed.
And that was the first catch of the game for Poison. Up to the 45 right hash now, BC. Tie ball game now. Rourke pump fake and then underneath for Butler. And little misread there as it falls incomplete, second down.
Yeah, Braxton Hill was right there too. Very close on that check down. I'm sure Butler wasn't expecting it.
That's how it looked. Braxton Hill, weak side linebacker. His second year with the Ticats. Under 6 minutes to go, fourth quarter. 24-24. Underneath again and another drop. Another one from McInnes. He's had a mixed bag today. He's had some big catches as well and a touchdown, but can't hang on to that. And that'll take the Lion offense off the field again.
Hey, you know, and he may have been short anyway. I mean, he would have had to at least make one guy miss, but absolutely catchable. You see Braxton Hill right there. He was a little short on that underneath route, but boy, the drops. I'm up at around 6 or 7 for the BC Lions in this game tonight. From the big name receiver.
I'm gonna say from the best, most reliable receivers that kind of day. The Lions offense to the punt from Carl Meyer. Allen's getting the ball back. And this return by Wooden, and a hand came out going high on Wooden, and down he goes. We're at the 33-34. So Harrison Frost to come back on. And this Ticats offense had done nothing in the second half. A string of 2-and-outs, and then finally after the turnover, they caught fire and worked their way down the field for the tying touchdown.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that the Hamilton defense has played outstanding, and that's why this is a tie game at this point. But it's been miscues and drops from the BC offense, I think, that has been the biggest part of this as they try to get out of their own heads.
Ticats, they're 33. They got a chance in this game here at BC Place. 24-24, Harrison Frost quickly to the left, caught by Curly Gittins, who has a touchdown in this game. Short pass.
Well, I mean, this is exactly what you want. You got a guy in his first start at quarterback, third on your depth chart, and you're on the road against the Lions with Nathan Rourke returning, and you're in a tie game. Closing in on the 3-minute warning. You'd take that in a heartbeat.
Gain of 6 for Gittins. 2nd and 4 for Hamilton. Up at the 39. Clock ticking. 4:15 and down. Four-man rush. Over the middle. Deflected. Nearly picked again. Just couldn't hang on.
The right guy.
Looking for Gittins again.
Yeah, right guy, just a miss. I mean, there's the void. Frost knows it's there. He's got a bit of a throwing lane. Gittins getting right to that void in the zone. And that ball just sailed a little bit on Frost. Gittins couldn't reel it in.
And nearly another tip drill interception by Deontay Williams, who has one in this game.
Go, 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 go!
55-yard punt. Back. Jaden Williams cuts it back up. Across the 35. So 3:33. Tie ball game, and we'll go back into the hands of Nathan Rourke and BC's offense.
James Butler get a run here on the tailback spot.
Both of these teams just trying to get things turned around. Hamilton at 3-5, BC at 2-5. For Buck Pierce, they started at 0-3 and then beat Edmonton in the second Kelowna game before losing the rematch with the Elks and losing Nathan Rourke in the process. So dropped to the Argos, but then a big win over Winnipeg, and Rourke back now and looking for their third win. And quickly to Poisson, it's his second catch this ball game, going quickly to him for that pickup across the 35.
Butler getting out of the backfield in a hurry, and they'll bring in the bigger team with Xander Horvath. He'll be coming in on this 2nd and 2.
3-minute warning is given. Interesting ball game. It looked at times like the Lions might pull away, but back came Hamilton in this second half. 24-24 the score. 3 minutes to go. Buck Pierce on the right, Brent Monson on the left. Ticats defense on the field.
Moving those chess pieces around.
Yeah.
Those 2 coaches. Right now.
Well, it has been far from a perfect game. We know that. Lots of mistakes made, but it is close, and it is up for grabs right now. And it is a 2nd and 2 for BC. Tie ball game. In the final minutes here. We've had 4 overtime games this season. Ticats have been involved in one of them. The Lions, none of them. Love to wrap it up in regulation, but they needed 2 yards on the 2nd down. And Horvath not getting much there. He had to get to the 39. He did not. It'll be 3rd coming up. 3rd and 1.
He's going for it here.
A little more size coming out there.
Yeah.
To help Horvath out.
They did have Riley Pickett out there as a tight end. So it was like a mini short yardage formation, if you will.
So now it's 3rd down. Xander Horvath, right side. Oh, initially, the second effort helped him get over the 40 and a 1st down for BC.
One of the tricky parts when we talked to Xander this week was when you get into this short yardage situation, you just have to get comfortable taking the snap from center.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not in the shotgun or anything like that. I mean, Calgary fans will be talking about that for a bit, but you know, you're under center. You have to take that snap cleanly and then get to your spot.
Well, there's certain teams that must just love their short yardage situation. BC now with Horvath. Of course, Saskatchewan with Tommy Stevens. There's Horvath taking a handoff and working his way across the 45. Good pickup on 1st down.
So right now, Buck Pierce is, the way he's calling this offensively is to try and drain the clock, get down into either field goal range or better, but don't leave Hamilton with anything left to try and come back and either tie the score or take the lead.
And the Ticats have only had 1 good possession in the second half, and that was the one that led to the touchdown that tied it after the interception.
Big down here.
Yeah, until that drive, they didn't even have a 1st down in the second half. 4-man rush. 2nd down and 5. Caught 1st down. Javon Catoy breaks free of Jamal Peters. A flag on the play as Catoy takes it down to the Hamilton 45 and a 19-yard pickup.
This is a big penalty.
Looks like it's coming back.
As if it's against the Lions, they're now in 2nd and long.
Offensive offside. BC number 34. This will be a 5-yard penalty. We're going to replay 2nd down.
That is Horvath flagged for the offside, and you're right, this is big. That pushes them 5 yards back in the 2nd down.
Horvath is down here as a wideout, and he can't put the brakes on in time.
So it goes back to a 2nd and 10 from their 41. 1:55 in the clock. Don't convert here. You got to give it back to Hamilton in these dying minutes. 3-man pressure. Work with time. It's caught. It's a 1st down. Talk about making amends for Justin McInnes. All the way down to the Hamilton 35 with 1:48 to go.
Cover 2 man was the call from Hamilton and Brent Monson. That's getting Katsatonis as a deep outside defender, and he slips. He sees it. He reads it. He knows they're going down the middle and trying to split the cover 2, and he can't get there because he slips on the turf.
And that's costly for Hamilton, too, because it sets up BC in scoring range, 140 and counting, to the Ticats 36, Justin McInnes. Faking the handoff. It's knocked away by Destin Talbert, charging in their boundary half and got his hands up on Rourke. to force a second down.
Now, I know there'll be some Lions fans saying, why are you just running the ball here in this situation? You're in field goal range. This is basically can be a run play. I mean, it's up to Nathan Rourke here. He can give it to Horvath underneath there on an RPO look, or he can pull it. And he decides to pull it. So this was the decision made by Nathan Rourke, based on what the play looked like.
Talbot knocks it away. 1.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter in this tie game. From the 36, setting up a screen to Catoy. Jumps over one tackler, puts his head down. What a great effort after the catch for Catoy. Back in this Lions lineup and a first down, BC.
That's big second effort from Javon Catoy, and this is why. First of all, it's a screen look.
Hamilton.
Basically, Nathan Rourke has to keep retreating to let the defensive line get up the field so they can't get involved in tackling Javon Catoy when he catches the ball. But that second effort, just hopping over that first tackle, he's not at the sticks yet. That first tackle attempt, he was not at the sticks. That would have been third down. He gets there on his own with the second effort, and that's what Nathan Rourke told us about. This guy is special. He's a big part of our offense, and we're lucky to have him back.
Well, he's been a big part today, hasn't he? 7 catches to lead the way among BC receivers, and he's at 109 yards now, and they've got the ball down to the Ticat 25. In field goal range in a tie game with 1:18 in the clock, and as you talked about, clock management a part of this as well. Rourke handing off. Horvath, he jumps, he gets hurtling over the 20, down to about the 19, 18-yard line, 6-yard pickup, 1:13 to go.
The clock starts almost immediately, 35 seconds, 20-second clock still in the snap the ball. There's whistled in, and the 20-second clock starts as well as the game clock, so Nathan Rourke will milk this.
They started at their own 29. He'd play the drive. From the 19, second down and 4. Horvath again. Needed to get to the 15. A little bit shy of that. But as I say, watch the clock. 48 seconds now. And the field goal unit will be coming on. Sean White, Carl Meyer.
Had one blocked earlier in this game. It was a longer field goal attempt, so it would have been shorter trajectory, but Mario Kendricks got up the middle, got through that initial line from the protection point of view from the Lions.
Sean White has had one blocked, made another one later to give them the 7-point lead at the time. This 24 yards away to put them in front in the final minute as the clock keeps ticking. Cam Four in the snap, the hold by Meyer, the kick by White, and it is up and through. And BC has restored a 3-point lead, 27-24, with 28 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter.
Now the strategy becomes, do you kick it to Isaiah Wooden?
Well, we saw that squib kick off at the top of the game.
Squib kick can take a second off the clock if it tips somebody or hits somebody, but it also could be stopped close, to in good field position. So now the strategy becomes, you kick it deep, you're putting it in Isaiah Wooden's hands.
And you see Dennis McKnight there talking it over. The Lions, there he is, Lions' new special teams coordinator. He was with Hamilton in the same role 1 year ago on Scott Milanovich's staff.
The downside of trying to squib it is if that front line can get their hands on it and stop it there, you're 5 yards from field goal position. That's the downside for trying to do that. So we'll see what they do. Are they going to rely on this cover team to go down and make a tackle?
Well, here we go with Meyer, who squibbed it on the opening kickoff. He puts this one higher and shorter, and coming in is Wooden at the 20. The 35. And as far as maybe the 30 37 before they all gang up and stop this play. And here's Harrison Frost.
So Dennis McKnight, you saw him as he was walking up, a little nervous on that sideline, going, okay, we're kicking it to Wooden, but I'm going to trust my cover team to go make a tackle. So 20 seconds left now. You got at least one chunk play necessary here, and then a quick maybe out throw to stop the clock immediately to try and get in field goal range.
Well, what a spot for Harrison Frost in his first CFL start. Down 3, 20 seconds on the clock in their own zone at the 38. Frost to throw over the middle. It's caught. Curly Gittens midfield, and that's a big chunk of real estate. 14 with the catch, 14 on the clock. Ticats not done yet.
No, they left a huge void. The difference between the linebackers, most of them up at the line of scrimmage. Matthew Betts dropping. Big hole in the middle of that. Do that one more time, and Hamilton's, we're going to overtime.
The clock is continuing to tick down here as there's a discussion among the officials now. As 14 back on the clock as we would have ruined any chance they could have had. They need time to run a play.
14 seconds remaining on the play. 14 seconds.
But Rod, you don't have to have if you're Frost right here, you don't have to throw a high-risk throw over the middle right now. You can work the sidelines and get in Legio's
just get 10 yards.
In his range, yeah.
Legio's career longest is 55, but they can even get 7. Underneath Gittens, got to get down. He does.
Big tackle.
6 seconds and a good tackle there. BC. They get to the 49. We got a flag though.
Parker McKenna, I believe, made that huge tackle because if Gittens gets loose there, they're in field goal range. And see what this flag is may change everything.
Illegal procedure. Hamilton number 89. That penalty is declined.
I'm going to try a deep one.
So they choose not to push them back.
Well, push them back. Is there 6 seconds? Buck Pierce looking at it saying, can they run one more play?
Yeah.
Before a field goal attempt. They're saying if we decline the penalty, they got to try it from here.
6 seconds. It'll be a 57-yard try. Just a couple of weeks ago, Vincent Blanchard of Edmonton hit a 57-yarder for the win for Edmonton in Saskatchewan. This for Legio would be a career high and looking to tie this game and force overtime. Out, down, kicked, heading left. It is left, and it is over. The BC Lions hang on and pick up their 3rd win of the season with a little more drama than they might have thought a little while ago. And for Harrison Frost, close, but his first CFL start does end in a loss as the Ticats make the turn at the midpoint of the season at 3-6.
Yeah, the BC Lions in the West really needed this win. Coming off the win in Winnipeg with Caden Salter getting their quarterback back. But I'll tell you what, this Hamilton team has some fight in the dog because to push the Lions on the road, how many people expected that a 3rd-string quarterback in Harrison Frost was going to go down to the wire, a chance to go over overtime on a 57-yard field goal attempt that is wide, but there's some fight in this team. They pushed the Lions to the brink here tonight.
They certainly saw some things from Harrison Frost after a slower start to get them back in it. And even in the second half when things were not going well, the touchdown off the turnover to tie it. But ultimately, it's the BC Lions who pick up their 2nd straight win. And this one coming with Nathan Rourke back in the lineup. Javon Katoy, let's not forget him as well. But in this meeting of the Cats and the Lions, it ends up being another season split. Hamilton won back in week 3. This time it's BC's turn. So ends week 10 here in Vancouver. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy Enjoy the rest of your weekend.